While I do like to point out the hypocrisy of feminism in most of my videos, I feel the need to make a serious video here discussing a subject that is very important to me. If I could pick one thing to advocate for, it would be sexual and physical abuse. Though in this specific video, I'm going to focus on males, even though I know women are definitely a demographic within this horrendous crime. I was on Twitter and I saw this article that came across my feed and it made me very upset. Let's get on with it and I will explain along the way. I will be abridging it, but I encourage anyone who wants to read it to read it. It was supposed to be a sign that sexual violence against men was supposed to be taken seriously. But just over a year after the government announced a male rape support fund, with £500,000 set aside exclusively to provide counseling for men who had been affected by sexual abuse, support groups are being forced to cut back on basic services. Forced, huh? That's because male victims are just not as important as female victims. Though the number of men who report having suffered serious sexual abuse in London has doubled over the last 4 years, the only organization which offers dedicated support to male victims in the capital is now having to turn away new clients. Of course, there may be a silver lining though. When the government grant was announced, Survivors UK successfully bid to provide a national website for male victims, where those who had suffered rape and sexual abuse could find information, post their own experiences in forums, and receive online counseling. Absolutely awesome. We get an online counselor and a website. So of the £400,000, none of it is going to face-to-face counseling. And the number of men who might need to use these services is growing. In 2010, 485 men in the area reported having been the victims of sexual offenses, including 131 who reported having been raped. In 2014, that number was 1,027, of which 308 were rapes. So my question is this: where are all the feminists in all this? How much money is backing their movement? They cannot help out by adding a few £100,000 to help out, and they yet again prove through their actions that the movement is for women and not for everyone, despite what egalitarian feminists say. So men's shelters are being placed on the back burner because there isn't enough funds, and one of the richest movements ever to exist is remaining silent because male victims just aren't that important. Instead, we will focus on women being called bossy. I wonder how much money went into that campaign. Yeah, feminism has its priorities. We don't want their feel-bads to get hurt. Feminism isn't the only one that can be blamed for this, though. It is a societal attitude that everyone has for male victims. A good example of this is a video I came across a few days ago. My heart goes out to her and her family.
Once CPS was contacted, after years of me keeping it a secret, they cared all about me, but they didn't care about my little brother. A boy who was 10 at the time and autistic. He couldn't have communicated if he was being hurt by my stepfather, well, his biological father. He couldn't have. CPS, they basically rejected him because he was a boy. They told me there was nothing to worry about with my brother since boys got molested less. This was after I asked them to have at least supervised visits. Well, at least have supervision over my brother's visits with my stepdad. They didn't give him that. And right after they told me he basically didn't matter, they told me all women are oppressed. It's sick.
I want to touch upon feminism's real attitude toward men in domestic violence and sexual abuse. Direct from heforshe.org, the solidarity movement Emma Watson said was for everyone. Gender equality is not only a women's issue, it's a human rights issue that requires my participation. I commit to take action against all forms of violence and discrimination faced by women and girls. Yep, violence and discrimination faced by men is a non-issue, and it doesn't exist. So I'd like to take this time to send a heartfelt message to Emma Watson. From a man who has been abused by a woman, I would like to say, Emma, you are a liar and a horrible person. You only care about violence and discrimination faced by women and girls. You cannot deny it. It is in print right there on your site. So from me to you, Screw you, Emma. Screw you.